Hello, my name is Omar Rampersad. It's Saturday, June 21st, 2018 at 3:40 p.m. in Toronto. I tweeted a bunch of tweets on ROSHINI 911. Those were all mine. I will point out the tweets that are hacked because I monitor my Twitter account. Um, those were mine that I did yesterday and today. So there is a program that I'm in, as I talked about before, that is trafficking me. This is part of the community targeting program that is working with the police to keep people off the street, number one, and to keep them out of the prison system and the psychiatric wards. So the idea is that the person belongs in a psychiatric ward or in prison, but in order to avoid imprisoning them because there is no room in the prison, I heard outside the window, the community will take care of business. So here is how the community is taking care of business. In my case, all based on the harassment I'm receiving. So this is how it's structured. So I'm in the program. So the community gets together and give feedback to a team of people, the board. And this could be a local one, it could be a national one, it could be an international one, it could be a global one. And of course, these are all criminals because trafficking is part of the targeting program. So um, once you're on the board, you're discussed. Their meetings are being held about you, and you're discussed ad nauseum constantly because you're put under glass. Basically, you have no privacy, 24/7 surveillance, your neighbors, in the workplace, your coworkers, family members, everybody becomes a spy, a source, everybody. So it's constant information, 24/7, constant surveillance, constant updating, constant meetings. And the source of information could be kids, could be friends, could be strangers, could be criminals who are paid to say and do certain things to incite anger and so on. So anybody, everybody, anywhere, anytime could be a source. Some of these people are paid by gangs. Some of them are police informants. Because if you're flagged, then the police, of course, keep an eye on you, and they employ, or they work with, I should say, police informants that work with them from the community. And these informants, like traffickers, have their own agenda. So if these informants slash traffickers want to recruit somebody, they would become an informant and then report that I saw the person soliciting somebody. The person used to be a prostitute. I suspect she's a prostitute, in order to label the person for to pimp them out. So the structure that's being used is one based on terrorization, intimidation, fear. Because this information is flowing not only to the monitor, the report that's being put together as a result of all this information being fed to them, to this team, it's flowing to the monitor, it's flowing to the cops, and it's flowing to the public. So this information is public information, which of course is the basis of harassment that I'm getting. As I said, the information are lies in my case. I was targeted, somebody swore an affidavit saying they suspected I was a prostitute and a drug user while I was going to UFT, working full time, taking night courses, and eventually graduated. So I was definitely there. And you couldn't possibly be taking drugs, work full time, and come home, very late at night after school, and pass your courses. If you were taking drugs, there's no way that was going to happen. So obviously, I wasn't taking drugs, but this is the way I was flagged by the pimp in the building, who is working and was working with the traffickers. So this is how it works. This system is being abused. And I understand there's all kinds of terrorism concerns and so on. And, everybody should keep an eye out for things. But this is being abused by criminals who are using this information gathering and information sharing program to avoid terrorism, to use this and abuse it to criminalize the person and to sell the person in my case. So, um, so let's talk about um, where this program stands with me at the moment. As a result of all this harassment, I was pulled out of my home without any question based on informants in the building lying to the police. And there is always one policeman who's working with these people, their contact in the police force. So this person is the one who will take the information, get the warrants, get the writs, and so on. And in this case, there's one name that's constantly being called outside my window. I'm being, um, harassed about it. He's going to come and pick me up. We're going to call him. He signed a writ. He has a warrant to remove you from this home because you're a prostitute. And it's absolute now because there's so much reports about you. It's absoluted that you're a prostitute, you're a criminal, you stalk, you fornicate. What else did I do? Supposedly. Um, I stole. I groped was a new one. I heard I groped somebody who reported that I groped him. Um, and the groping, I believe, was also reported by a Muslim man. So, who is trafficking. So the source of this information alone discredits the content of the report. Now, in this building, the monitor who's working with the police is outsourcing his monitoring. He uses his sons, he uses his wife family, he uses the co-workers, people who work with him. He uses the contractors who he has contact with, who does work in the compound, and everybody else that he could use basically because he spreads the rumors. He talks to the people, garbage truck drivers and so on, to keep an eye out on the road if you drive. But he's a source, and he's the manager, and he's the one who looks at you or have information about the people who are looking at you 24/7. There are shifts. There's a team, and there are shifts. People are looking at you 24/7. The worker who I have in court right now for sexual harassment is also a monitor, and he's been looking at me inside my home. I'm absolutely sure. I'll say I suspect it, but at this point in the game, with all the conversations that he's holding outside my window and everything else that I'm hearing outside in the public workplaces and so on, I'm absolutely sure he looks at me inside my home and gerbils me. So as I said, the trafficking part of this is the gerbling. So the gerbling is actually training for the people, for the pimps, like the worker who is selling under this cover of community policing. So I heard the seed, which means you're going to be planted in that place, and you're going to blossom into the sex slave for this person, and you're going to be customized to this person. So the training takes one part of the training is the gerbling, which means that you're going to be hit with lasers and so on in your genitals, and you're going to be customized for this person. You're going to be masturbating for this person. You're going to be acting out for this person. You're going to be performing for this person inside of your home, dressing up when you go to bed, whatever. Hints are going to be dropped your way by the traffickers and the people who are working with them. And people will come and sit by you in the train or stand and have this conversation, dropping the names of the monitor, dropping the names of the John, and they would say things like, so and so likes you in that nightie last night because the John is looking at you at night. And then they would talk about it, and the community is part of it because the community has decided, in my case, that because I like sex, God forbid a woman likes sex, the best profession for me is to become a sex slave rather than the one I have right now as an accountant, which I'm working as right now. The best profession is to get to make me into a sex slave because the community has decided that this is the best level at which I should be operating on. A satanic agenda, basically, is what it is. There's a lot of Satanism going on in the world right now. So this is just an influence, a satanic influence in the program, criminal um, activity and taking place under the umbrella of community policing. So right now, as it stands, at the present time in my program, I've been updated outside my window today that the work I have in court is retaliating, and he has the file open because the neighbor across my corridor flagged me for verbalizing in my unit. He listened because the neighbor is working with the worker, contracting, subcontracting, maybe even directly working with the cops. And they're listening to what I'm saying inside of my home. So based on what he hears inside of my home, he's flagging me through this meeting, the Saturday weekly meeting that seemed to be held about me. So then a new envelope is open by the worker who I have in court for sexual harassment. So he's retaliating. He's using the community targeting program to retaliate against me. And because it's a covert program, there is no hard evidence about what he's doing, except that he is calling the cops about me. His name is being called in my workplace as somebody who I'm his mistress for X number of years, and I'm his sex slave, and he was gerbling me all these years. His name is being called in my workplace. So he has infiltrated my workplace. There are Chinese workers in my workplace, and of course the Chinese want me out because I heard there's a warrant for my removal. So this is public information. So this public information is in my workplace. So I'm being harassed about all of this. The court case. I heard my coworker made a comment around my desk. No human rights hearing. I haven't. I've been there for 3 weeks. I haven't told anybody that I had a human rights hearing against the worker in the building. But the comment is being made, no human rights hearing for you. And the contents of the submission is being talked about in the workplace. So there is infiltration. So where is the flagging coming from except from the neighbor? Well, if there's infiltration in the workplace, then the flagging is also coming from the workplace. So I'm not groping anybody in the workplace, obviously. But people are claiming that I am. I heard outside the window. I'm not stalking anybody. Since I'm being monitored, they're stalking me. And because I'm very aware of what's going on, I avoid any situation that could be misconstrued. I go out for lunch. I sit alone to have lunch in the lunchroom. Other than good morning and good night and professional conversation during work time, I minimize any social contact. Once in a while, I may join in a conversation if I'm engaged in it. There is no solicitation. And if people are saying that I am soliciting, it's because they have this perception of me based on the report and the information that's in the public that's been going on for so long, just like it's absoluted now in the cops database that I'm a prostitute when I'm not. It's absolute that I also steal and I grope and I stalk because it's been going on for so long, and there's so many lies I've been told by so many people over and over and over and over and over and over again, and that's a strategy being used to solidify the perception in people's minds about me. And this is in the workplace. So, of course, it's causing harassment. And it's promoting violence in the workplace, too. This whole program is promoting violence towards me and other women as well in the workplace. And it should not be done. This program is an illegal program, it's an unconstitutional one, it's a criminal one, and it should not be carried on. The police should not be taking part in this program. If they're placing informants in my workplace, then they're opening me up to being stalked, to be raped because I'm being registered as a prostitute. They're compromising my professional image. I'm being defamed as a result of what they're doing. Plus, the enormous amount of stress it's causing. This whole thing is causing. It should be discontinued. The program should be discontinued. Nobody should be a target. Everybody should be given due process. This is a constitutional right. It's a human right. Nobody should be put through a program like this, a COVID program like this, and harassed to death and be tortured with lasers and microwaves and ultrasonic technologies to basically kill them, torture and kill them, basically. This is the whole idea. If the stress from the harassment doesn't get you, the lasers and the microwaves will. And this is the whole idea. You're put on a list to be targeted to death, to be disposed of. And this is exactly what happens. Unfortunately, the people who are doing the harassment and who is taking part in the criminal activity to target the victim also get killed in the process. That's an unfortunate byproduct of this program. The criminals who are running this program is running it for money. They don't care who gets hurt. It could be the perpetrators or it could be the victim. They don't care. It should be discontinued. Talk to you another time.